Alright, what's up everybody? This is A7X Ben, and this is game 3 between HMS GT, UPS, and the Saccing Treasure Traders fleet. So, tentatively, whoever wins this game will move on to the finals of tournament number 3. I say tentatively just because I want to make sure there's a decisive result. So if it feels like a fluky win, there is a chance at another game, but we'll see. So hopefully we'll just get a decisive result. HMS GT red, black for traders, see who goes first. So let's roll right away. And we get traders going first, just like in game 1. And so they get to place the first island. And they want islands generally about 3L to 4L apart. So they're going to start off going, I think, somewhere in the northwest middle type area. That'll be a good start. And then HMS GT UPS wants them about 4L apart. I'm going to pop over here and put one kind of more towards the corner. So we're going to go 4L, angle it like that. That looks fine. And now traders place the third island. So I think they're going to go south of their first one. So they're going to move over here, place one south of their initial choice, the third island. And then HMS GT UPS, they kind of want to put the last island 6L away, but with this setup, I realize with this ocean size, I guess there is a little bit of an asterisk in the tournament results compared to like a full, I don't know, some crazy ocean size, but luckily I don't think there's any matchups in this tournament that would see both fleets wanting every island 6L away from every other island. So in that case, I'll have to get a bigger ocean mat or whatever. But anyway, so fourth island is placed by the GT UPS fleet, going 4L right there, and 2 islands left. So let's see. So knowing that the GT UPS placed the last island, I think they're going to go, the traders fleet is going to go 4L in this general direction, try to force the last island to be placed not that far from some of the existing ones. So yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't think I've seen a setup quite like this yet in the tournament. So they're all kind of similar distances apart, but it's impossible now for GT UPS fleet to put an island really far away from any of the other ones based on the setup. So they might end up going, I can still think about where they want to put the enemy, and we'll be going second. Let me see if this is, they could go in the corner. That is 3L, so they could make that work. They could probably make the northwest corner work too, but it's a lot harder for me to access. Maybe even the southwest corner could work. Let me test that out real quick. That one's tighter. It's not really gonna fit in the corner. So I think they will place HMS GT UPS. It's a little bit of a different island set the last 2 games, first 2, but still kind of similar. Where there's more islands closer together in the southeast corner. So that's going to be their final island placement. So now we get to placing terrain. So as usual, they're going to disagree on how many terrain they want to place. The HMS GT fleet, they do want to place 4 again. So they're going to vote for 4, and then traders, they're going to vote for 1. So it's interesting because in games 1 and 2, the fleet that went first, they won, and they also got their terrain roll in that game. So it's gonna be interesting to see if that continues here. But maybe GT UPS will get this roll, and that would kind of change the dynamic a little bit, because then they wouldn't be going first, but they would get their 4 terrain. So red for GT, black for traders. Okay, that does happen. So GT fleet, they get to place all 4 terrain they want. So 4 terrain per player. Traders fleet, they still place the first one as player 1, of course. So they want basically maybe some reefs, but probably a fog bank. I think they'll start with a reef. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna put it in the southwest corner here. I don't think there's gonna be any terrain down there, most likely. So they'll go, so they can start thinking about gamifying the setup. They'll pick the opponent's home island second. They realize GT fleet will probably put them not at one of these islands that's close to another one. So they're more likely to get put up here, maybe there or there. So based on that, I think they're gonna reef in between here. So trying to place it in such a way that there's not space for a whirlpool in either of those spots, because they have to be S away from each island and terrain. So first terrain is a reef. Second one is placed by the GT, the Grand Temple fleet, and they're gonna pop a whirlpool right over here. Yeah, they like that right there. It's fine. And then it's gonna be similar, I think, to the first few games in terms of the terrain types. It's gonna be a reef here, placed by the Traders fleet, and then another whirlpool. It's gonna be placed by GT UPS. They really have no idea where their home island is gonna get placed. I mean, if they put the opponent there, probably not gonna be here or here, so they're not adjacent. They could be, but probably not. I think they might end up there, actually, maybe, or maybe here. So in that case, they're gonna, let's see here. Yeah, I think they're gonna pop a whirlpool right here. That way, it'd be within SSS 1 move action range of the Grand Temple, depending on where she's docked, of course, at either of those two islands. So, and then I'm gonna go with one more reef, I think. Probably just one more. They might try a fog bank, the Traders fleet. We're gonna do a reef, and let's see where they want it. Yeah, they're gonna put it, they're gonna try it down. They're gonna try it down here, actually. Fill this area up a bit. Yeah, a little bit closer to the whirlpool, so it's S away there. And about S away from the island. Yeah, that looks good. So, third reef added, and we're gonna see a third whirlpool as well. No real surprise there. So, HMS GT UPS fleet, we're gonna pop a whirlpool. Let's see. Okay, they can also gamify this. Yeah, I gotta start thinking about this a little bit harder on these last few terrain. Because they can intentionally, if they know they want to put the enemy home island here, they could intentionally not put a whirlpool near there. It'd be harder for the enemy fleet to whirlpool on the first turn. They might still be able to reach both of these islands on the first turn with Sack, but yeah, I think they're gonna put a whirlpool over in here. Yeah, kind of at a certain angle. Yeah, I like something like that. Looks pretty good. Maybe actually, yeah, probably closer to the reef. That way there's a chance. Yeah. If Grand Temple comes out, her hull is about S long, a little longer, I think, and then she could get either one through there. She could already get, yeah, she could almost already do that with that other one, but this one makes sure she can get to that one at least. So, yeah, that looks fine. So last round for terrain, and I'm thinking Traders, they're going first. I think they actually are going to put a whirlpool themselves. I was originally thinking fog bank, but I don't want to be biased and forget that they might actually benefit a lot from a whirlpool too, up in the north here. So they're thinking, they know their home island is about to be chosen, and they see there's not many whirlpools at these northern islands. So I think they're going to go kind of in between a little bit and make sure there's one near this island. So I think they're gonna try that. So, and then the last terrain is placed, of course, by GT fleet, and they see that whirlpool placement, and I guess they're not ecstatic about it. So they might place, now there's 4 already in play. They might actually not do a whirlpool, and they can really, yeah, they're about to, right after this is when they pick the home island of the Traders fleet. So they could maybe decide to go somewhere, put them somewhere else. I think they might actually put them here and put a reef. Let me see if a reef will fit. I think this one will. It's really cool. Yeah, no, it does fit. Yep, SOA right there. And then here, just barely SOA. Yep. So that one fits right in between. Yep, okay. I think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna actually put the enemy home island there to make it harder basically for them to reach any whirlpool from their home island with one move action. I think Neptune's Horde can still do it to this one, but anything else is going to be tough. Cassandra might be able to. She measures from there. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, whatever. I think they're still going to try that, and maybe not put their home island in the far northwest. But let me think about that. So that's the next part. So a lot of whirlies. So we got 4 reefs, 4 whirlpools, and makes a lot of sense given the bigger ships in these 2 fleets, and also the extra action capabilities, of course, makes whirlpool travel more attractive usually. So now I've placed terrain, choosing home islands. Last player choose which island will be home island of the first player. So we're going to grab the black token for Trader's fleet, and GTUPS has to decide where they want to go, where they want to put the enemy. So yeah, there's not really, at this point, there's no island that's not going to have access to whirlpools. So that's going to be the whirlpool game could be a big one here. So I still think they might try that, because at least the reef is in the way. It could make it tougher to get home, or even to leave home. So this one and this one, and even that one too, they're all super close to whirlpools and like unlimited access. But they also have to think about how the enemy is going to treat them, because they saw in the previous game, they saw the GT fleet saw their home island get kind of attacked a little bit. Coeur d'Alene was captured, the gold factory was interrupted. So they're thinking basically, if they put the enemy here, if they get their home island picked to be there, that gives Neptune's Horde and Cassandra really easy access to come out of here and hit an unprotected Coeur d'Alene and try to do the same thing in this game. So they could try to pick an enemy home island location that minimizes the chances of them having a vulnerable home island spot. So I don't know, this might still work out well though, because I don't think they'd want to be right next to the GT fleet, but I suppose they could try it. They really could. Let me think here. And GT, you also have to think about Grand Temple needs to be able to move into a whirlpool with 1 action from the home island for optimal logistics, which is a little bit harder from this island. So I think they're still going to place them there, even if they get placed there as a home island. Yeah, I think they're still gonna. I think they're still gonna try that. So yeah. So Jollymon would start somewhere on the back side of the home island, and then so the other fleet, before I place their ships, they can really start to think about where they're going to place the Grand Temple fleet. So they're probably, let me think about this, they're probably not going to use Hidden Cove again. They're probably not going to include it in their +5 selections. So they can really check this out here and see Cassandra, she's going to be a little short. So but that's okay. What they might do is have Neptune's Horde come through a whirlpool, probably into the southeast, and then Cassandra might hit this island here. Let's see if she can get there actually. And do a little pre-measuring. 3, 4, 5. Okay, it looks like she can get there, so that's really good. That's huge actually. Okay. I think they might do something like that. So, in which case, if they whirl into the southeast, they'd probably this is interesting though, because they could avoid the whirlpool travel entirely by putting the GT fleet in the far southeast, and then Neptune's Horde with SLS or LSS, whatever she could get here, and hit that on the first turn. No need to whirlpool either ship, which could be an attractive option. So it's kind of debatable. This is where the meta just gets crazy, because then it's really going to probably come down to the treasure distribution, because then, they might get a good island here, but if they could still get a good island in the southeast, they could get lucky on the whirlpools and then find good treasures. So I think they're gonna probably not whirlpool as much by default. I think they might start something like that if they put the GT fleet in the southeast. They could still think about putting the GT fleet here. Either way, the Grand Temple fleet they know they're going to be rolling with Hidden Cove, and Grand Temple has 6s12 speed. So Grand Temple is going to be able to cove out here, or just whirlpool right away. And from a whirlpool, she's be able to hit basically any ship on the board, most likely. So therefore, it might not really matter that much where they place them. Here, there's a reef, but she's probably going to go around it pretty easily. So I think what they like about putting Grand Temple here might be harder for get to other islands compared to if they start them in the southeast. But I don't know. I don't know how much it matters. I think I don't know if they should gamify that GT part of this as much. I think they're just gonna start like this, and then that way, keeping this as a wild island, and then they can just explore 2 islands since they're going first, and then not have to whirlpool basically. Because if they pick this as GT home island, Neptune's Horde has to whirl just to get down here to any of these 3, and then she has to whirl to get back realistically. So I think they're going to avoid the whirlpools, because it does cause some problems running out of crew to sack. It can cause some real headaches with crew setups and running out of sack food, and they want all their mass to be able to defend against Grand Temple's aggression. So I think they'll try that, and then based on that, they are going to put the Grand Temple fleet somewhere in the southeast. I think the far corner is probably best, just to be farther away. I don't see the benefit of really putting them anywhere closer. It would just cut off a potential wild island more from a non-whirlpool trade route coming southeast, one of these 2 directions. So I think they will. I think they will just put them down there. And okay, so place the GT fleet, and I think Patagonia is going to be a little exposed. That's another reason to do this. Is the island is in a weird spot. I don't know. This is a bizarre rules question. I'm going to have to ask Wolf about this. If there's not room to traverse between flat Earth and the island, is the ship invincible if she can't be captured or rammed? Right here, she's in her little corner, and I don't know. I think a 2-masted blockade runner could fit through this slot, but not here. But there isn't one of those in the enemy fleet. Jollyman might be able to get through for a ram, but that's a weird one. I think they want Patagonia to at least have the chance to be mobile, I guess. Maybe it's better to have her not be mobile, but I think they're going to keep her in the corner, the southwestern corner of the island. So I think they'll just try something like that. And then either way, it looks like Hidden Cove is going to automatically place Grand Temple here if she Hidden Coves on the first round. I don't think there's nowhere to place her, so she's closer to this island, so her placement doesn't matter quite as much. It might a little bit for the whirlpools, but not really, because either way, she's easily there with 3S. So okay, so kind of a long island selection process, but now that it's the rubber match, I want to trying to take the meta pretty seriously. So hopefully those are solid choices and thought processes for both fleets. And now we get to placing crew. So the Traders fleet, they've got their regular crew that they're placing with the Hag, bringing in +5 choices of helmsman on Neptune's Horde, helmsman on Cassandra, and then an oarsman, face down oarsman, that's going to start on the home island for extra sack food, basically sack fodder. So yeah, they're going to stick with the regular. They don't think they want to do Hidden Cove at the price, not at the price of a helmsman. So they're going to stick to their guns. They won a game in the series without Hidden Cove, so they're going to stick without it. And that was a game where they went first, so they got that same situation from their game 1 win, where they're not using Hidden Cove and they're going first. So they like their chances good enough to try it without it. So, and then for the other fleet, they've got a +5 with Horace Bradley. So they have their crew. Put these face down. It's not going to matter too much, but so they're +5s. They're going to go with the English Explorer on Grand Temple, of course. 3 oarsmen, with the first one being English, 2 on the home island, one of those being French, just as a contingency. And then I think they're going to stick with divers. This is a little bit tougher than the last few games. Basically, divers event versus the Jolly Mon for the last point in the GT fleet. Jolly Mon might be able to get gold from here kind of easily. It's not a terrible usage of her. Problem is she slows down to S with if she loads like non-unique treasures, so it's going to be. I think they're just going to stick with divers. They really want to have that, keep that flexibility. So if Grand Temple is able to sink Cassandra or Neptune's Horde when they pull the board in transit, divers will allow them to take all the treasure instead of splitting it half and half. So that's the setup. And then, of course, for crew or for treasure, the fleets are going to be going with their same distributions that they've gone with in game 2. So for HMS Grand Temple fleet, that's 663, and then the Wipe and Eliminator UTs, and of course Plague Natives, Missionary, and 5 3s for the Traders fleet. So I'm going to mix those up, and then we'll be ready to start this game 3. Okay, so rubber match of semifinals, part 1 of T3, and chess clock just help me get through the decision making faster. Left clock for the Traders fleet, and right clock for the GT fleet. And get started right away. So Neptune's Horde and Cassandra, both going to reveal helmsman, explorer, Pedro Gilbert, Vanna Black. They're basically going to be using all those this turn. So let me think about. They both have the trading ability, so I think I'm just going to send them out. I'll do Cassandra first. She's going to spy face down English crew on Coeur du Lion and Snoresman. No surprise there. Just want to peek at it. So Cassandra, 3S for first action. She's going to use Don Pedro Gilbert, sack a face down oarsman to move another 3S to get to this island. And she's going to try to dock a little bit away from the whirlpool, but it's not really going to protect her. She's not going to be able to get away from it too much. So she has an explorer. So we're going to see what the first wild island contains. Okay, Pirate Globe, Karmic Idol, 3 and 6. So this is really interesting. They haven't had this happen yet. I don't think. I've seen this in the tournament where a fleet that didn't really want these UTs in the game is able to determine the order in which they're applied to their benefit. So usually when these are found, it seems like it's been by fleets that put them in. And then they're able to reveal all UTs and then wipe them all out. I think we're going to go with the reverse order. So since the exploring player chooses the order in which they're applied, since they're both face-up UTs, and they have to apply both. So Pirate Globe, when revealed, turn all treasure on all wild islands face-up for the remainder of the game, then remove Pirate Globe from the game. And for Karmic Idol, that's one of the wipe UTs. So when revealed, remove all face-up treasure from the game. If such a unique treasure changes the value of a treasure coin, that coin regains its printed value. So with that, I think they're gonna go ahead. They don't want to help the enemy fleet, basically, especially because if they find a negative UT in the north, they want to trade. They actually want to trade it and try to sabotage the Grand Temple. That's kind of part of their fleet strategy here. So So they're gonna go ahead and activate the idol first, which knocks out the pirate globe before it can be applied. So both UTs just go out of the game. And so the 6 and 3, they were never revealed, so they're only known to the Trader's Fleet. They're going to load both. They like their chances. They've already got 9 on Cassandra, and now Neptune's Horde is going to be given a double action. I'm just going to sack the Oarsman right now. Grab an Explored token. She's going to zoom out at SLS times 2, basically, and reach this other wild island. So she wants to dock so that the Whirlpool isn't as threatening, but I think it's going to be impossible. Either way, I think Grand Temple would be able to come out of here and hit her really hard, which might happen. So, and also she still wants to be able to make it back home next turn pretty easily, so she doesn't get slammed. So she's got an Explorer as well, so pop the token there, and then we're going to see what she's got here. So a couple 3s, Jailhouse Dog, Parada Codex. Wow, no negative UTs. So, man, that's not enough though, because they found 15 total. They got 9 Cassandra and then the 6. Yikes. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. They could make a huge gamble and trade, but I don't think it's worth it. So basically, they don't love this mix, but I mean it's pretty good. It's just they'd rather have one of these, like Parada Codex especially. They'd rather have that be another 3 or something like that, or anything worth value. So the Codex is another, it's a remover. So when revealed, remove all face-up unique treasure from the game. If such a unique treasure, yeah, the same stuff at the end. So the Codex, it applies before you would choose to load Jailhouse Dog. So it applies right now, but there's no face-up unique treasures to remove from the game. So therefore it has no effect. So, and so that one's gone now. So that's pretty interesting actually. Both wipe UTs are gone. So this is a horrible treasure distribution for the HMS Grand Temple fleet. I think it's probably going to cost them. So they could gamble here, the Neptune's Horde. She could use her treasure trading ability, gamble trading away the Jailhouse Dog and hoping to get a 6 or a 3 in return from one of the other 2 islands. But the problem is so based on these 2 islands they've found, they know that Missionary, Plague, and Natives, all 3 of those are between these 8 coins on those 2 islands. So the chances of receiving a really devastating negative UT in return is too high. And the other problem is the Neptune's Horde. She actually only has 2 card spaces open. She's going to flip an Oarsman, so it doesn't take up space, but she's only able to load 2 coins anyway. So they'd basically be trying to gamble that they'd get the other 6 in return, which is a 1 in 8 chance. Assuming the other fleet included a 6, they don't know that there's another 6 out there, but based on the last game, they would think so, probably. Versus, so that's a 1 in 8 chance of getting that versus a 3 in 8 chance of getting one of the negative UTs that they put in. So they're fine. Just taking that 6. They still have 15 gold between their 2 ships, and they think that Grand Temple has a very high chance of finding a horrible UT on this turn. So they're actually, they're pretty fine with it. So they're going to turn it over. And the Grand Temple fleet, one thing that they are going to note right now is that none of those UTs were revealed. So if Natives, Missionary, and Plague, none of those are secret negatives. So if either of these ships had found one of those, the Traders fleet would have to let them know. So, and because Natives, ships get stuck, and then Plague and Missionary, of course, are face up. So, so that means they know. And there was no trading. They would have seen the trading. They wouldn't see what gets traded or what they receive, but they would see that there was a swap. They would know that they used the ability. So because of that, the GT fleet actually does know, based on all that info, that assuming Plague, Missionary, Natives are still in the distribution, they don't know that for sure, of course, but they can assume that they're probably out there based on the trading fleet strategy of the other fleet. And the fact that those UTs, those natives, have shown up in games 1 and 2. So they can actually know or assume that those 3 negatives are on these 2 islands as well. So I think that's going to affect dramatically what they do. They'd love to just Hidden Cove and try to trade treasure home, but they know if they get hit with Plague or Missionary or Native, really any of them, they can't trade anything away, because Captain Jack Sparrow doesn't work like that. And even if he did, it wouldn't benefit them too much here, because the phase up GTs will apply before his ability comes into effect. GT does not have treasure trading like Don Pedro Gilbert or the Neptune's Horde. So I think based on all that, I think they're gonna attack. They see 2 coins on each ship. They don't know the values of either one that are on either. I think they'd rather hit Neptune's Horde because of the combat capability. They might hit Cassandra if they knew about her 6. She's got 9 versus 6 on the Horde. But since they don't know the values and Horde is the more dangerous foe, I think they're going to go north and hit the Neptune's Horde. And they also know that since this was not revealed to be one of those negatives, it should not be a negative UT. I don't know if there's any like secret negatives where you're able to load a treasure face down and it has like a negative effect. You could argue there's some face down treasures you can take, but then even then it would be optional, so it wouldn't really make much sense to have an optional negative, of course. So I think they could Hidden Cove. They could go here. It's just not going to help them at all. The Hidden Cove might come in really handy later. So they're gonna go this way. So first action through the whirlpool, come out right here. We'll roll for damage here. So 4 through 6, lose mass crew or treasure. Okay, so their bad luck continues, and they're gonna lose, I guess, a mast. Probably I think they're gonna lose a 3S mast because they really can't afford to lose any crew. So yeah, let me take out the second mast on the ship. So I'm gonna pop that down there. And now Micron's be given a second action from Patagonia. We'll flip him, given an action to Grand Temple, who flips. She had her helmsman, we got Captain Jack Sparrow, we got the Explorer, all the usual suspects aboard the Grand Temple. So she's gonna hit Neptune's Horde. I think she'll shoot before exploring because she might as well check out what this coin is, I think. So, yeah, she might as well do that. So, yeah, she's going to shoot first, though. Maybe she could ram. She's got 5 shots left. She's probably not going to hit. I don't know if she can't count on hitting 4 times. So, she doesn't want to lose a boarding party either, but yeah, I think they're gonna. They don't want her to escape the Neptune's Horde. They could board, take out another sack crew. I think Grand Temple actually wants to board. I think they want to. Well, they want to ram. They mostly want to maximize damage, so I think they're going to be willing to ram. They were going to explore, but I think they really want to maximize damage here. So they're going to ram at the bow. Like, let me organize this. So they're going to go 1S, a partial 2nd S, and a 3rd to ram at the bow and try to block her as much as possible on the starboard side. So now we're going to get a huge broadside where HMS Grand Temple opens fire on the Neptune's Horde. So we'll go. Got 4 blacks for the 2L cannons, and then a white for the 3S remaining at the bow. So 5 shots total. So here we go. Okay, so pretty good. So 4, it's like 4 hits. So 3 there, that missed on a 2L, and that's a hit. So 4 for 5 takes out all mass on the Neptune's Horde. So crushing blast from a devastating weapon, and still got to figure out the boarding. Actually, I don't know if they would have wanted to sink there. I probably should have only rolled 4, but it works out fine. So Neptune's Horde dismasted. They are going to choose the Grand Temple. I think they're going to choose to board. Yeah, they actually want to, especially with this advantage. They're up 5-0, so it's unlikely they'd lose. So they're going to board. Red for them, black for Horde. So let's see what happens. Okay, English win 11-2 in a huge boarding blowout, and So Grand Temple has no cargo spaces available. So Horde cannot give up a coin because one can't be transferred. So she has to eliminate a crew. She's going to eliminate the Explorer for sure. Because then she still has helmsman, sack, and oarsman. Kind of like the necessary crew to survive. Or at least try to survive another round. So, okay. So with the ram, there's no way to grab that coin. I think Coeur du Lion is going to stay at home. I think she should stay there, be ready to receive treasure. So, yeah, that's going to end their turn. So, a pretty good recovery. I really like the intel. I feel like I'm getting better. I mean, I should be getting better at competitive play as I play the tournament. But yeah, like, it's interesting to reason through how when these two ships explore, that let GT know that they didn't find any natives. There's no Plague Missionary natives because you'd have to reveal them. Then it's clear to all players. So then they have to deduce that they're all in these islands. So it's pretty interesting. I still think it was the right idea for Neptune's Horde not to trade. There's no real reason, because then she could have just gotten Player Missionary. Like I talked about, it was a higher chance of getting one of the negatives than the remaining 6 in play. So, okay. So we'll get back to Trader's Fleet. I think Cassandra, she's going to stick to her plan. She needs to get her 9 home. 9 total, that is. So she's going to go 3S, sack. Let me think about this. She's got Explorer. She's going to sack the face down. Yeah, it's going to sack the face down Northern because there's one more on the home island I think she's about to pick up. So she's going to keep the Explorer. She might use it next turn, hopefully. 1, 2. Okay, hang on. I think the first action I didn't measure in full. That's 3. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah, she gets back. It's kind of close, but she gets there. So she's going to pick up, so she automatically unloads as a free action. These coins go face up when unloaded. So now GT Fleet immediately sees, okay, they got 9, so they're in pretty good shape on round 2 here. She's going to pick up via the free transfer rules, grab that oarsman from the home island. And I think Jolly Mon's going to set out. Maybe she probably should have last turn, but that's a tough one. Yeah, she wants to set out. There's a slight chance they'd even be able to do some kind of sabotage play, try to end it early. So yeah, Jolly Mon's gonna set out. I don't know quite yet where she's going or what she's doing, but she might try to become a plague missile or suicide on a whirlpool and cause the game to end sooner if they maintain a gold lead, which they may not for much longer. We'll see. So Neptune's Horde, she is able to row at S+S with helms and oarsmen. She's got a lot of problems going on right now, though. They could build a fort, but I don't think they should. They can't build Paradise. They only have pirate ships in their fleet. They build Dead Man's Point, but it might get destroyed immediately. I don't think they should build a fort and put gold back in play. It would partially be to try to repair the Neptune's Horde, but it's only at the end of your turn, so she wouldn't be able to repair this turn. It's an ugly one. She has there's no room. She cannot fit through to get to the whirlpool. So this is bad for her. She might do something radically different, but I guess she'll probably go home and at least force the Grand Temple to like sink her or capture her or something. So yeah, I think she's gonna do that. I will say though, they did see divers last game, so they could conjecture whatever it's called, that they could wonder about divers being in the GT fleet and be a little worried about that. Neptune's Horde, she's got a lot of options, just not very many good ones. She could dump her gold back here, but then she can't do anything else. That'd be her action for the turn, would be exploring. Well, she could sack and then move away, but the problem is she's not going to get away. So S+S only gets her here, and then as soon as she sacks, she has to sack the helmsman. If she sacks the oarsman, she can't move anyway. But if she sacks the helmsman, she's going to another one more S. So it's kind of screwed. She might not sack, actually. She could dump everything on the island, build the fort, and see if Grand Temple can take out the fort. I think the biggest problem with the fort is it also puts one of these coins on this island. And they don't want, I feel like Grand Temple would probably use her first action to basically destroy the fort. They could build the Devil's Maw with the 6. That's a 5-flag fort with 1 more flag and therefore more durability than Dead Man's Point, which has 4 flags. But they don't want to, they really don't want to put gold out on an island for the Grand Temple to get it, because I think the fort would fall. I think the fort is just a bad decision long term, because now that the Horde has been crushed, I don't think she's going to recover, honestly. It would take a miracle. So Grand Temple would have to miss like a ton of shots against the fort, a really crazy amount. And then even then, Horde can only repair up to 2 masts next turn. She might not even want to sack to do that, because she's running low on sack crew already. So I think she's just in a bad situation. Just trying to think. I just want to make sure I make the right decision for the fleet. If they dump the gold on the island, that just makes it easier for Captain Jack to send it home for +2. So I think they need to just play keep away. It's not going to work, but they got to force the Grand Temple's hand. Yeah, they don't want to put any gold from their home island onto this island. They don't want to put any gold there in general. So I think she's just going to run away, and she might actually sack the helmsman, because then she'd be less useful if she gets captured. So I think she might run away the maximum distance. Oh, she could assume that she's going to get slammed this coming turn by the GT, which is probably going to happen, and therefore not go home. So what I'm thinking is, if she goes 1, 2, 3, Grand Temple is going to be right there. And then Grand Temple could shoot, sink her, and then use her second action to go through the whirlpool or something like that. But I'm thinking if Neptune's Horde moves 1, 2, and then sacks the helmsman and 3S up there, this takes Grand Temple away from the whirlpool. So I think she's going to try that. It's kind of a weird move, but I think thinking through all the options, it makes sense. So at least it makes more sense than some of the other stuff she could do. So okay, so yeah, there she is at the top of the map, basically, and flat Earth, of course. So she's really just trying to play keep away. So for that to happen, she does have to sack her helmsman. So she's expecting to go down to Davy Jones' locker soon. So okay, I think that does it for them here on round 2. Yeah, Jolly Mon got an action, Cassandra got 2. So yeah, that takes care of them. So we're going to turn it over. GT fleet, I think they're going to try to sink the Neptune's Horde and use divers. So they would either way, probably. I just think if Neptune Horde dumps her coins here, she sinks anyway, because she's not going to be able to get away. And then GT can then send home coins, and they actually get bonused. So at least with divers, the coins don't get a bonus. So yeah, so GT, she could try to board and capture, but if she boards, they're probably going to kill Havana Black first to delay the GT even more. So I think they might as well just sink. They have divers and everything, so it's a perfect time to use that, take advantage of it. So, and she might actually grab this and explore. Yeah, she's going to explore as well, I think. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you think Neptune's Horde had a better move to make. I think she's just completely screwed no matter what. So at least in this case, her gold won't get bonused up via Maurice Aristide, and she's trying to take the GT farther away from the whirlpool. But okay, so Grand Temple, she's going to shoot first and blast away. Just going to shoot a couple 2Ls from the stern, trying to sink Neptune's Horde. So it's, you only need one of those, but anyway. So Neptune's Horde sinks, and they're going to flip divers the event. So they're going to receive all the treasure. So it goes straight to their home island, and Neptune's Horde is now gone. So I think that's Oh yeah, and then they're gonna explore as well. So we're gonna check out this jailhouse dog here. So that's the one. The other fleet knew it was there, and they knew it shouldn't be a negative UT. It wasn't revealed the first time a ship explored that island. So this is a weird one because I don't know if they're going to trade it home. That's a weird one. They could trade it to core. She can't bonus it, but they could just, I guess, yeah, they kind of want it, but there's no room for it on Grand Temple. So I think they're going to, this is a weird one. If they trade it to core, it takes up a space, and then she has to spend a turn giving it to Patagonia, which I don't know if she's gonna have time for that. I think, and that also trades a crew out to this island, but Grand Temple can just pick it up because it'll be an oarsman. They have 6. Yeah, they just don't want to forsake the dog because it could come in real handy at one of these islands. Yeah, they're gonna trade it. This is a tough one. This is an interesting decision, actually. But they're going to trade the dog for that face-down English oarsman that goes out to this island in the north. And then she's going to immediately, or he is going to immediately get loaded by HMS Grand Temple, who's going to flip it face up so it doesn't take up space, so it can actually come aboard. And so now Jailhouse Dog is on the Coeur du Lion. So she has not been given an action this turn. She's going to give it to Patagonia to free up a cargo space, just not quite yet. She's going to move to touch. Yeah, she's going to, so Coeur is going to be given a move action to touch Patagonia. She was already pretty much right there, but anyway, that's her action for the turn. Now, Micron gives Patagonia's action to the Grand Temple. I think she might not be able to reach the whirlpool. I don't know if she really wants to, because Cassandra might come through right after her. I guess she still would want to. I don't know if she can, because she's got to take a certain angle. She's got to get away from this island. So if she goes there, she's gonna, because that's gonna overlap the island, so she's got to take a worse angle. About right there, measured from the starboard bow. Therefore, I have to again. And yeah, she can't get there. Yeah, so that was one of the benefits of Neptune's Horde running as far north as possible. Grand Temple's not able to reach that whirlpool quite yet, so of course if she did, she might come out in a way that makes it obvious where Cassandra should go next. Like if she's pointing here, Cassandra would hit this island, versus if she comes out like here, Cassandra could go there. So in a way, it might still be pretty good for the GT fleet. That's not obvious what whirlpool she'll take to get back to the southeast, because that's where all the gold is now. These 2 islands have been cleaned out, so. All right. So the traders are down their best ship, and Cassandra is going to have to make up the difference here. So we're going to peek at the crew on core. It's Maurice. I mean, they pretty much already need that, because he's not even in their +5s. But, and I got to keep in mind that GT fleet still has hidden code. They have not used it yet, so keep that in mind. And Cassandra, this is going to be a tough call. This is going to be a tough one for her, but we'll see if she can make this work. Let me think about where she wants to go. So let me make sure she can get to the whirlpool. This is going to be tight. Oh, she can't. Oh my god. Okay. All right. I think it's because of the way she docked. I don't know if it's the way she docked when I did the simulation. I think I must have measured too aggressively. She's not there. So, okay. So she can't get there. Which is ugly as hell. I think that's going to screw him completely. Let me just, I feel weird about this because I feel like I measured it before the game and it was fine. So let me just see. I think it has to do with the angle at which she was docked in that simulation. She's still not there. I don't think I bumped this whirlpool. When she started the game, she was more at that angle there. So we measure from the port bow, go as close to the reef as possible without hitting it. There, yeah, she barely touches. I think they weren't docked like that. They had to come in like this, I think. because she barely got home on the way back from this trip. So I think she just has to brave the reef. I think she's just going to go over it. So if she'd started here, she can't quite, yeah, she can't get there. Okay, so in that case, we're going to roll for reef damage. She's still barely there with that docking angle, but she will get there. So I'll use a black die. So reef damage on Cassandra. So this could be a big roll. She's willing to take it. Oh, all right. So she loses 2 masts on the reef, but she's able to reach the whirlpool. So, all right. And yeah, so I think she'll come out. She probably wants to come out here. Either way, she's probably gonna get waylaid. This is an ugly one. Problem is they can't let GT just run chaos around them. So they gotta try to get more, or else GT's probably gonna win the game for the other fleet. They could hope that GT finds 2 or even all 3 negatives at one of these islands, and then the jailhouse dog's not enough to overcome the difference, and GT becomes really ineffective when she loses all her crew. But I don't know about that. I think that's too much of a gamble. I think they need to go for gold. They could try to target the other home island again, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think that's the best play. Because GT's really definitely going to interfere no matter what. So I think she's probably going to choose this island. This is tough. This is where spying is handy. Island spying. She doesn't know which island is better than the other, but oh well. So roll for whirlpool damage. So okay, so now the trader's fleet has the bad luck, so she has to lose something. It's a disaster. She's got to lose a mast, I think. If she loses she's got Pedro, helmsman, explorer, face down oarsman. She needs the explorer on this next action. She's gonna sack. She's got to sack oarsman, because when she comes home, it's probably gonna be through the whirlpool. And if she comes home the same way, even if she goes over the reef, 2S does not get her home. It's close, but it's just not there. It's got like 4 or 5 millimeters at least. So, so she has to lose a mast. This reminds me of the last game a little bit. She could sack. I mean, she could lose the oarsman. Well, she really can't. Yeah, no, that's what I was just saying. So then she can't afford to lose the other crew. Yeah, this is tough. This is where the sack is amazing, but it can get a little bit fragile compared to a micron-based strategy, because you end up really running low on sack fodder sometimes the longer the game goes, and then can't afford to lose crew, so you have to lose durability instead. So she's gonna, of course, sack that oarsman, face down oarsman, so she can dock at this island and explore right away. So she's gonna go in straight, so that way if Grand Temple goes on one side of her, she'll probably be able to reach the whirlpool either way. There's a chance if Grand Temple sets up like breaking the stern, like here, she might not be able to reach it, but that might be figured out next turn, but we'll see how the GT fleet plays it. So place the token there, and this is gonna be big. Oh, it's all 3. Oh, that's insane. All right, so their luck has completely run out. Great on the first round, and now the train is destroying them, and now they just found all 3 of their negative UTs on the same island. So devastation. So they'll trade away one of them, and 2 of them will take effect. Missionary. So this is literally pick your poison. Either way, they're going to lose all their crew. Natives, so I think if they apply missionary or plague first, natives would have no effect, because there wouldn't be any crew for natives to slow a ship down with. Ship that reveals natives may not have given action to the merchants, given their crew. On her, it says when natives is revealed. So it was just revealed. I mean, this would not be revealed, but this is a weird one. I feel like since it says it's when it's revealed, that happens before it takes effect, before Plague or Missionary would take effect. So I don't know if choosing the order here really would matter much. So let me just make sure here. It's pretty clear to me. The Pirate Code, page 62, Explore Action, Order of Operations, says step 6 is reveal all unique treasures, mostly being loaded face down, and then number 8 is apply the effects of all of them after you load them. Of course, natives won't be loaded, but either way, I'm pretty sure that natives would apply even if they use the Plague and Missionary first. This is when natives is revealed. So therefore, if they're just going to lose all their crew anyway, I think they should trade away the natives. So if they trade away one of these, the other one will still knock out the crew, the remaining crew. You might as well just get this double whammy of poison and have a double death, double Black Plague attack. And so they're going to trade the natives. Maybe they'll get the 6. I mean, they know, well, they don't know a 6 is out there, but they hope there is one. So they're going to trade away natives, also trying to sabotage the Grand Temple, of course, but they also know the Grand Temple traded Jailhouse Dog to core because they saw that coin earlier, and that was the only coin on the island when GT traded, so they basically know that Jailhouse Dog is in the enemy fleet and can be used to cancel the natives. But anyway, they still should trade, of course. So they're going to trade away natives, so 1 through 4, left to right, for the random grab to see what they get. So 3, so I'm going to put that there. So they get Maps of Alexandria, so no 6. Okay, so that gets basically added to their pool here, so they must load it, but in this case, it's not really gonna, this one goes away right after it gets applied, so it's not gonna really matter for the purposes of loading it. Maps of Alexandria, when revealed, turn all treasure on all wildlands face up for the remainder of the game. Remove Maps of Alexandria from the game. So they're gonna apply, it doesn't really matter. They'll apply the maps first before Missionary or Plague. So, yep. So other than natives, this was actually a great island. So funny enough, the GT fleet would have been fine going here. They didn't know that. I think they still made the right move. They don't have any island spires, so they didn't know this was a great island. Because this would have had the maps of Alexandria 633. So it would have been an awesome island, comparable to that southwestern island the Cassandra initially explored. So now we reveal, we'd reveal this one too, the 3 that they haven't loaded yet. Maps of Alexandria goes out of the game. Missionary and Plague apply. So all the crew are gone. They get taken out, removed from the game versus eliminated. I don't think that matters for any abilities here. So yeah. So, but she does retain Plague. Missionary goes out of the game. Cassandra now has the Plague, and unfortunately, per the code, since the Explorer was eliminated, they can't load the 3. Stays face up per Maps of Alexandria, but they're not able to load it per the Pirate Code ruling on Explorer actions when the Explorer is killed by a unique treasure before non-unique treasures can be loaded. So, big turn. Not too, can't be too pleased about it, but I think that's all they, actually Jolly-Mon hasn't moved. So they are ahead. So now they just want to sabotage. Maybe the reef will help. I don't know. Maybe they're happy they got slammed on that reef because they're up 9-6 right now. So they're going to try to end the game. So Jolly-Mon is going to try to get Derelict in a whirlpool, but she can't reach it yet. So, and then they might be out very soon. Cassandra could lose her last mast in a whirlpool. So yeah, GT sees all that. They see the score. So I'm going to turn it over. And so GT they feel some pressure right now to win right now. Because if they don't, like I said, if they get the quote unquote bad whirlpool rolls of a 4 through 6, Jolly-Mon, Cassandra can both derelict themselves on the next turn for the traders. So GT has to try to play to win right now. I think they can though. Let me think. Well, they might not get 16 now, but they can easily take the lead. So they can just go here, take out natives with the dog, and then trade the 6. And they gotta unload the 6. This could get a little funky. Let's see what happens. You know what? I gotta look up something about the jailhouse dog. Okay, so basically, the jailhouse dog is going to be used immediately. I can't find anything that says you cannot use it against something that's already face up on an island. And so they're going to play it. It says reveal jailhouse dog to remove unique treasure from the game, remove jailhouse dog from the game. They're basically just trying to free up cargo space on Core, so Grand Temple can trade her this 6 and plus it up. So they're going to flip the dog, take out the natives, and that clears the coast for Captain Jack Sparrow to come in and flying the Union Jack, ironically, on HMS Grand Temple. So we're going to fly in here, roll for whirlpool damage here. So not too worried about it. They do have to lose something with the 5 roll. It'll take out a mast, I think. They're feeling pretty good about their durability and their combat capability with the enemy fleet only having 2 masts standing. So we're gonna dump a mast. And then with Micron, Patagonia gives her action to Grand Temple, who's going to dock at this island. And then they've still got an Explorer, so we're gonna explore it, put their token. They're gonna trade the 6. Oh, they actually have to. Okay. Core? Yeah, this is where it gets ugly. I think they're gonna be fine, but yeah. So Core, she doesn't have an oarsman to trade. She has to trade Maurice Aristide for this coin because she's not docked at the home island. So yeah. So, and she didn't have room to load it earlier because Princess Aria Ra forces crew to take up cargo space even if they otherwise wouldn't. So even if she loaded the French oarsman face up, it would still take up space, and that would be her 3rd and final cargo space taken up. So she's going to trade face down Aristide to the island. They really want the +2, but they don't need it to take the lead because they're desperate to take the lead right now, seeing that the writing on the wall is that the game might end with another turn. So therefore, they're going to trade the coin for Aristide. And then that takes care of the Grand Temple. I think she's done. I don't think she wants to load either of the 3s. She'd rather just trade them next turn. Patagonia's sacrificed her action. And now Core, the jailhouse dog, is not in action, so she's not been given an action. She's going to redock and unload the 6, and that allows them to take the lead 12-9. They were down 9-6. The 6 flips the lead of the 3 gold lead in favor of the HMS Grand Temple fleet, which makes it impossible for the Traders fleet to suicide and win on this turn. So they're going to start their turn and see what they can try to salvage here. Yeah, it's ugly though. I don't think they can. I don't see a path forward for them. Cassandra has Plague, but she can't reach Grand Temple. She has no sack. I mean, she has no crew, so she's not gonna be able to get there. She could hit the whirlpool. There's no point in suiciding because they would just lose because they're losing 12-9, of course. So I think she's gonna hit this whirlpool, dump the Plague. She kind of wants to keep it and ram Grand Temple, but Grand Temple is probably going to stay out of the way. She's probably going to go to the side of the island, and if necessary, she's just going to take her out. So, yeah. So I think, Jolly Mon is going to have something going on as well. She should probably just try to take out her mass and be ready to end it sooner. Because the longer the game goes, the more Grand Temple is just going to keep putting more coins. Grand Temple, with 2 more crew here, she could trade both to Core. I think they're gonna win with 18 this next turn. I don't see what would prevent that. So, but Cassandra can at least come through and threaten with the plague if she gets a good whirlpool roll. And also, this is interesting. Let's see. Let's do the roll. Let's try that first. So she doesn't lose anything. All right. So good whirlpool roll. So she keeps the plague. What I was going to say is if she got a bad roll, she could dump the plague. So then she can dock at this island to explore it for the gold, but and try to load that and try to get home. But she would never. She's not going to. Both of these coins are going to go to the English home island on the next turn. And even if they didn't, Grand Temple would be able to hunt her down and sink her or capture her before she'd ever get it home, realistically. So Jolly Mon, she'll join the festivities, I suppose. She'll roll for damage. She does lose her last mast, her only mast. So the hag can only be limited via an enemy ability or action, so you actually cannot sacrifice the ransom crew to the whirlpool, because or else ransom would not be a bad enough negative ability if you could just toss it overboard. Similar to how it cannot be sacked. It's too easy of a way to get around that negative ability, which is why the cost is so low on ransom crew. So or at least decreased. So 0 LR plus 5 crew are kind of strange, of course, but so with time running out, I think that's all they got. Unfortunately, they just don't have the agency to make any plays at this point, or at least not any that are substantive enough to make a difference and get the lead back. So should be quick. And Grand Temple, she's just going to redock. And I haven't even used Hidden Cove, so I didn't even need it. Yeah, anyway. Well, actually, before she redocks, she's going to Kawar is going to load both of these crew, the face down oarsmen from the home island, and with Aura, they'll take up space, but that's fine because she lost Aristide, so she does have 2 spaces open. And with that redocking, CJS is going to trade at 3 to the core for English oarsmen to the island. Core is going to keep that coin, and Grand Temple is going to redock again, basically, and then she's going to trade the other 3 to the core for her French oarsmen. And now the core is going to be given an explore action targeting the home island, and they're going to unload that 6, and that gives them the victory. So they end up with 18. So the final score, 18-9. HMS Grand Temple is able to pull off the victory over Treasure Traders fleet. So they're going to move on to the finals of tournament number 3. So they had a good game. It was interesting. I think what makes this decisive enough to I feel it's conclusive, partly because they went second. This is the first time in this series that a fleet has gone second and won. So I had some doubts about HMS GT's ability to kind of play from behind, so to speak, or go second and win. But this doubt, it just went away because they just won this one. So even though the enemy fleet, a trader's fleet, was able to explore 2 islands, they didn't have any negative UT problems. They didn't even have to trade. They found pretty good islands, pretty good treasures. And through that knowledge they gained from not exposing any negatives, Grand Temple knew that if she went one of these 2 islands, there was a high likelihood she would get at least 1 negative UT. Of course, it ended up being horrible here, ironically, but that might have been, she could have gone to that island through the whirlpool easily. So yeah, I think it was actually a really good series. This is probably the best. Well, maybe not the best, but it was one of the best series of the tournament so far. I think it was pretty memorable. We got some cool gold scores out of it. One of them was 17-12, a pretty close game, and now we've got this 18-9 victory. So in terms of like what ifs and whatnot, usually a game I don't try to play less nowadays. But basically, if Cassandra had, quote unquote, chosen right and gone here back when she was whirling, she whirled here and lost the mast. Let's say she whirls here, loses the mast. So sure, she picks up like 6-3-3 or whatever. Problem is, that was her last action there. And then Grand Temple was up here, right? So Grand Temple, of course, once this was all revealed to be negative, Grand Temple had every incentive to come here and just, get the good stuff and send it home. But if Cassandra went here, and then there's still no negative UTs revealed, once again, Grand Temple basically says, "Oh, okay, so she doesn't get she doesn't get anything bad here, so she's got all the goodies." So Grand Temple would have come through here and then slammed her. So I don't think the Trader's fleet would have won, even if the Cassandra had chosen the right wild island to whirlpool to. So it just would have taken a little bit longer. You could argue that once Cassandra had the coins aboard and she got dismasted, maybe Jolly Mon is able to end it via suicide before this fleet, the GT fleet, can get any of this gold home when they were still up 9-6. But that relies on that bad whirlpool roll from Jolly Mon. They did get that, but I don't know if it would have happened fast enough. So there might have been a way for the GT fleet to get a coin home. I think part of it would have had to do with the Cassandra's crew setup. I don't know if she would have loaded all the coins from here, but either way, especially coming from behind essentially and winning despite going second, I think seals the deal on this matchup in favor of the Grand Temple fleet. So that being said, the Trader's fleet is wicked good, and I think one thing I was thinking about before this game kicked off was the differences in the fleets are often kind of the extremes. So the Grand Temple fleet is a more extreme fleet. It's like more boom and bust versus the Traders kind of feels more like a consistent fleet that has some resiliency, and they usually get a good amount of gold even if they lose, and it doesn't feel like they're out of it too often. Versus if Grand Temple, if she finds bad UTs at her first island, I mean, she's screwed. And that's another thing I wanted to mention is that this matchup, I think it comes down to the treasure distribution more than anything else. I think who goes first is really important too. We still saw the first two games decided not entirely by who went first, but that did help. The player one won each of the first two games, unlike some of the other series in this tournament. And then here though, Grand Temple proved their mettle by winning by going second. But I think the treasure distribution almost usually would determine the outcome of these games. And even here, it kind of did. So, because even though player one got what they wanted at their islands and didn't have to deal with two negatives, one of which they wouldn't be able to trade away, Grand Temple was able to use that knowledge to their advantage and make sure to slam. They started slamming their ships before they would get gold home to take out the Neptune's Horde threat and her gold. And of course, with the divers event came in real handy too. So, because if they hadn't used that, they would have been down 12-3 instead of 9-6 if they hadn't used the divers event. So that also helped the Grand Temple fleet a bunch. And overall, really happy with the series and like pretty exciting like gameplay and like really interesting decisions made. It was funny because I was trying to put the jailhouse dog on Patagonia because she has one open cargo space. She has 3 out of 4 taken up with crew. And so if she loads the dog, that frees the core's last cargo space because core at that time had Aura, Aristide, and the dog. So because I couldn't trade when Grand Temple found the dog, I guess what Patagonia probably should have done was just have an oarsman available as a contingency option. She could have already had one, and then when Grand Temple explores here, she could trade it to the Patagonia. But when she explored that island in the north, Patagonia didn't have any crew to trade. She didn't want to give up Micron, of course, for a jailhouse dog. So usually you only want to give up Micron for like maybe the winning coin or something like that in a treasure trade with CJS. So overall, she was trying to transfer the dog here to free up her cargo space, but then she got caught with no crew to like no oarsman, no fodder crew to transfer to CJS. So, but then I was like, you know what, if Aristide has to go, then that's fine. So it also proves that the GT fleet can win in pretty good fashion without needing the +2 bonus, because they didn't get any bonuses, but they didn't need them. So overall, a really memorable series and a really cool matchup that I think, like I said, I think a ton of it comes down to luck of both who goes first and the treasure distribution. And I think to a somewhat lesser degree, the terrain setup as well. Maybe if there's no whirlpool, yeah, maybe if the trader's fleet gets their terrain roll and there's no whirlpools, because there'd only be 2 terrain total, and the traders would not have placed a whirlpool. There wouldn't be any whirlpools, basically. So in that case, Grand Temple, I mean, this turned out to be a good island. So Grand Temple probably would have hidden coved here, so she could send home 2 coins instead of 1. Only 1 because she can't reach it with 1 island or 1 action. So she probably would have coved out right away and sent home 2 coins. So I think it would have worked out decently well for Grand Temple either way. But obviously the distribution plays a big role in things. And overall, loved the series. I thought it was pretty engaging and fun. May have been my favorite of the tournament so far, possibly. So either way, congrats to the HMS Grand Temple UPS fleet for advancing to the finals of tournament number 3. They'll face either Ultra Abuse or Kill That UPS, whichever fleet advances, and the other semifinals matchup of T3. But beyond that, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more tournament number 3 action.